Now been close to a week since Russia invaded Ukraine, and the conflict has been raging since, with more than 500,000 people having fled the country, both locals and foreigners that had been living there, including Rwandans.
Abo dufitiye situation uyu munsi ni abanyarwanda 46 hanyuma bamaze kwambuka ni 51.
Those who we are aware of their situation are 86 Rwandans. 51 have now crossed to safety, 1 to Hungary and 50 to Poland. Another 9 are at the border waiting to cross, and if all goes well, they may cross tonight. We would then have 60 across the border. We know that 11 are in transit within Ukraine, heading for the border, and there are 15 stuck in the war zone and unable to leave. The biggest problem they are facing is money. Some of them did not have enough when the war broke out. Some had it on bank accounts and ATMs ran out of funds. And then there is also a problem of electricity. Communication is difficult because it is hard to recharge cell phones, and so we must wait for them to come back online before being able to talk to them again. So that is the current situation. 15 are in Ukraine and stuck, unable to leave. 11 are in transit within the country, and 9 are at the border waiting to cross. 51 have so far made it across. Among those who have made it into Poland is Fred Mupenzi, who was the head of the Rwandan Students Association in Ukraine. With war, things are never easy, and in areas where the conflict is raging, leaving is extremely difficult. It was easy for me because I was living in the city of Lviv, so I was able to cross quickly. I then communicated with our embassy here in Poland so that it would help us and we could get the others out as well. They should not be discouraged because the embassy has sent 2 people and they are waiting for them at the border. The government of Rwanda's priority is to get all Rwandans to safety as quickly as possible, taking into account the situation on the ground in Ukraine and the countries they have fled to.
Kuguma mu mazu yabo haba gahenge bagasohoka haba hari ibitwaro birashwe wabonye ko bafite uburyo bwo kuvuza inzogera abantu bagahunga nuguhungira he.
They must remain indoors and only go out when things have eased up. They should pay attention to siren warnings of incoming missiles or shelling and seek shelter underground, in basements, bunkers and subways. Fortunately, the information we have indicates that no Rwandan has been injured or killed in the fighting. As for those that have made it into Poland, that country has decided that all foreigners that have made it onto its soil in that way must not stay for longer than 2 weeks. So all of our people must come home. Some may decide to stay with relatives and friends in other European countries, and that is also fine. But as for the rest, we must coordinate with their families here, their parents, and find a way to get them home to Rwanda. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is open to listening to any issues our people are facing, and we then work on finding a solution. We cannot announce today that we are sending Rwandair to get them or any other hasty decisions. But what I do know, however, is that regardless of where a Rwandan is, as long as they have made known the challenges they are facing, a solution will be found. It must be found. On Monday, the African Union released a statement denouncing the maltreatment of Africans trying to flee the conflict in Ukraine, with reports having emerged of them being denied services that are being provided for Ukrainians and other foreigners trying to cross the border. African countries have therefore been coordinating with each other to get their people safely out. African embassies are coordinating among themselves, the Nigerians, Guineans and others. So when a Rwandan winds up at, say, the South African embassy, we are immediately informed. When we see their people, we also tell them, so information is being exchanged, and so are people when they end up in the wrong place. Figures indicate that 20% of all foreign students who had been studying in Ukraine are African.